Constitutional test of being naturally born in the United States. Now, I've spoken to one authority. It says, well, actually his mother was a citizen and that's good enough because we don't believe you were really born in Hawaii. Attorney Berg, when did you file this lawsuit against Barack Obama?
Well, the first lawsuit I filed against him was back on August 21st of 2008. And that case took up to the Supreme Court by bypass. We were dismissed at the district court. Then we bypassed the Third Circuit, took it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has denied it right now, but it's back in the Third Circuit. So that's the case. They said we didn't have standing. If I don't have standing, basically no one in the country has standing, and it's outrageous. But we've also filed two other lawsuits at the present time. One we filed over 2 months ago, but I really can't discuss it because the case is under seal. But the caption of that case is Berg versus Obama. And when it is divulged what it is, it's going to be a real way of securing the information we need to show that he's not qualified. He has no business being president of the United States. In addition, on December 31st of 2008, I filed another lawsuit on behalf of a retired Air Force colonel, Colonel Gregory Hollister, versus, in that suit, it's interesting, we named the defendant as Barry Soetoro, a.k.a. Barack Hussein Obama, because we're pretty sure that he never changed his name when he came back from after being adopted in Indonesia. So that case, the colonel's position is this, that now if Obama, the colonel retired after 20 years, and he's on ready recall, if Obama, as the position he's holding as a usurper president right now, if he would call him back to duty, Colonel Hollister wants to know, does he accept the order because it's a valid offer from a valid qualified president, or does he turn down the order because the usurper is unqualified, and therefore does he turn down the order of an invalid order? So we have that going, and now that he has been sworn in, shortly we're going to be filing a fourth action, what's called a writ of quo warranto. And a quo warranto action is you file something like that against someone who is not qualified to be in office. So we have a pledge for all your listeners out there. We are our website is obamacrimes.com, OBAMACRIMES.com. And I ask everyone to go there to look at that. Go to your address book. Send it to everyone on your address book, your friends, your neighbors, your co-workers, because right now I would guess that 2 to 5 or 10 million people know about this in our country, but we need 50 million people knowing about this. So I know a lot of people are overseas listening to this. If you know people here in the United States, please email it back to them. Spread the word around the world to everyone, because we have a usurper there. A usurper means someone's in office who has no business being in office. And when the truth comes out, every law he signs, every order he signs, every appointment he makes, they'll all be invalid. So we are into now a constitutional crisis in this country. And also, if your listeners can do it to help the cause, because we're now in our 5th month of doing this, if anyone can contribute to the cause, you can do so by looking at our website, obamacrimes.com. The other real reason to look at our website is there's so much misinformation that is placed out there, and we have very accurate information. And anytime there's misinformation, we try to put it up there and correct it at that point.
Okay, would you repeat that first website, Mr. Berg?
Sure. Our website is obamacrimes.com, OBAMACRIMES.com. .com. It's one word, obamacrimes.com. But we were getting over 2 million hits a day. Last I saw, it was over 130 million hits. I don't even know what the count is now because we've been concentrating on the legalisms here. But it really, if you think about it, it's outrageous that here we are, this person gets sworn in, and the Chief Justice has to know that he's not qualified because thousands and thousands of letters were written in by people. Keep looking at our website because people are asking if we've got demonstrations or who to write to, and we're going to check it out further. But I would write to any of your local newspapers. I would call your local radio TV stations. Tell me what this matter heard. Your congressmen and senators are probably a waste of time, but you can write to them. They all could be impeached for the disservice that they did because when they had the joint session of Congress in the United States on January 8, 2009, they had an obligation to vote for a qualified person, and they know that he is not qualified. I mean, this is really outrageous. I'll tell you, I believe only to 1,000% that Barack Obama was born in Kenya. Right after the November elections, what happened? Kenya had declared a national holiday. Then a radio announcer from Detroit called the ambassador to Kenya and asked a question about the birthplace. And they said, well, the birthplace is known in Kenya. The people in Kenya are laughing at us. I think Obama has set himself up to be blackmailed. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's not being blackmailed already. If you think about it, he was going to be the candidate of change. Look at his cabinet. Is that a candidate of change? I think people in the United States, powers that be, got together and said, Berg's right. You're not qualified. You want to be president, you better play ball. 70% of his cabinet is from the Bill Clinton era. And the worst is Robert Gates, the Secretary of Defense, is left over from Bush. I mean, and wait till Kenya blackmails him. What's that going to cost? And what's it going to cost when places like Cuba or Russia or China or Iran get the information and blackmail Obama? I mean, this is really outrageous what he has put us into. In my opinion, this is the biggest hoax ever contemplated on the citizens of the United States in over 230 years, and it really is outrageous.
Well, if what you're saying is true, and I tend to think it is true, a colleague of mine is being held in Kenya right now. He tried to get out after he got interviews with the family relatives of Obama there in Mombasa, and they were telling him, and the only phone call I got from him, message I got from him before he was arrested at the airport, is that Barack Obama was born at the General Provincial Hospital in Mombasa, Kenya, and there were several people who are still alive there, including a retired nursing assistant, and they all claimed they were there when he was born, and people were dancing in the streets when he got the Democratic nomination way back in September, I think it was. But isn't it really a moot issue, Mr. Berg, because they've sworn him into office? If we now remove him from office, won't that set a bad precedent?
Well, I think we have a worse precedent. You got to remember, we started filing this. Let me back up a little bit. I didn't get involved in this until August of 2008. Significant. This has been questioned, by people around the world for the last year and a half, 2 years. And significant is June of 2008. In June 2008, what happened? Well, on the Obama website, on their official website, they put a document up there called Certification of Live Birth. They indicating that Barack Obama was born in Hawaii. They put this fraudulent document. They put this document which had been altered. If you go to obamacrimes.com, you can look it up. The document, we have experts who say that document has been altered. So actually, it goes back further. There's perjury. There's so many other laws. Think about it. Number one, if he didn't change his name when he came back from Indonesia, his name is still Barry Soetoro. On all his every state where he said he was qualified, that would be perjury because that's a lie. It's real. And also, if his name has not been legally changed, his real name is Barry Soetoro, not Barack Hussein Obama, the name he was born with. Is it too late? No, that's why you have things called quo warranto. Quo warranto means you can go after someone, and it can be if it can be a local councilman or a school board member or a supervisor or a state house member or a state senator, why can't it be against the president?